Hey guys, still there. After suffering through the Leopard 1A5, you're going to be rewarded. And you're going to be rewarded with this tank. This is the Leopard 2AV. I'm not exactly sure what AV stands for, but from what I've seen, this is a prototype unit. And although it may be a prototype, this thing is a very, very nice welcome after being able to go through the Leopard 1A5. Now, let me show you why this is such a nice machine after getting from the 1A5 over to the 2AV. Everything about the 2AV is better, possibly except acceleration and mobility, but aside from that, this is just a massive improvement overall. It starts out with penetration. You're going to do 284 on the 1A5, 334, that's 50 millimeters more on the 2AV. Damage, almost 80 points more. DPM, 1200 points more. But this is where it gets interesting. Your armor, that was just non-existent on the 1A5 with 70 millimeters, is going up to 215 of perforated steel composite armor. And that's with a 1.3 times modifier. So as you can see, pulling up the stats chart here, you're not actually looking at 215, but you're looking at 280 millimeters of hull armor and 510 millimeters of turret armor. The Leopard 1A5 just cannot withstand any such kind of battering. The side armor is better, the rear armor, well, let's say it's slightly better. At least it's not as terrible as the Leopard 1 is. You're looking at 46 on the rear of the vehicle and 94 on the rear of the turret. Aside from that, mobility. The vehicle is faster, although I haven't really seen it go up to 72 very often. It just doesn't really reach that. Acceleration is nice, 6.7 seconds is only slightly slower than the 1A5. Camouflage is less, but aside from that it's okay because you actually needed a bit more camouflage than the 1A5 because you just could not withstand a hit. The 2AV doesn't have that problem. You can get spotted, you can take the hit, so don't worry about that. Gun handling on this vehicle is definitely better, at least with the retrofits that I have installed here. You can see that the gun depression itself is still the same. The turret traverse is a lot faster on the 2AV, 35 degrees per second, which means you can quickly reacquire a target or switch to a different target. Reload time 6.69 seconds. The Leopard 1A5 I don't have in my garage currently, so you can push this reload time down a bit more. Accuracy 0.10 and targeting time of 2.74. That's the only thing that I'm thinking of, well, that's a bit high for a tank. But then again, with the right retrofits you can push that down. Now one of the things that you need to know about this tank is that it's very boxy, it's very flat. You can see the side of the turret, the side of the hull, the rear of the turret, the rear of the engine block. It's just one flat surface. So what you want to do is make sure you only expose this side of the tank. Your lower frontal plate is pretty vulnerable. Your upper frontal plate, not so much. It's heavily sloped as you can see, and most rounds will bounce off of that. The turret itself, again, is pretty boxy, especially if you compare it to some of its compatriots, let's say the MBT-70. This thing is a very well sloped turret. 2AV, not so much. So make sure that you either wiggle your turret around a little bit as you're hiding behind cover, or that you try to minimize the exposure of your turret altogether. So pop out, take a shot, pop back in. When you upgrade this vehicle, you don't have that much to upgrade, but you do get a very well all-round tank. Unlike some of its brethren, this tank does not get an ERA package, you just get an armor retrofit slot. So ATGMs can still do quite a lot of damage, although against shape charges this vehicle still has quite a bit of defense, but ATGMs are going to go through this vehicle pretty easily. So the moment you see an ATGM warning come in, back into cover or pop your smoke, because you can unlock smoke grenades. You have AP FSDS rounds, which lead you to a firepower retrofit slot. You got high explosive plastic rounds, high explosive anti-tank rounds, and I mostly use these when I'm fighting either lowly armed or poorly armored vehicles or PvE bots. You can upgrade an engine, although the engine upgrade really isn't that great. You go from 7 seconds acceleration to 6.7, so it's only a 0.3 improvement. But it does lead to a mobility retrofit slot that then again can help reinforce the mobility of the vehicle. Smoke grenades, gunner sights to improve accuracy, and a fire control to improve aim time. So this is a nice thing to have. Aside from that, 2 crash packages and the air induction pre-cleaner, which will help you with hold traverse and acceleration. Now the way that I have this thing kitted out is to be a sort of all-rounder tank. I have enhanced shell materials to make sure that I have a better reload. I know that currently moving accuracy is claimed to be faulty. It's going to be bugged. I'm not exactly sure whether that's the case because it's very hard to measure whether it's actually true. Hull reinforcement Mark III to get me more hit points. I have the armor to withstand quite a few hits, but again, more hit points mean longer presence in the match, and longer presence usually means being able to output more damage. Aside from that, the augmented breach lock that I unlocked from the Challenger, or the Ariete. Good reload time, good minimum accuracy, so my aim circle is going to be a bit smaller. And finally, the enhanced drivetrain to boost the turret traverse by 15%, as well as get me a bit better maximum speed. But then again, you have 1 general retrofit slot, 1 armor, 1 firepower, and 1 mobility. So you could put any kind of configuration in here that you like. You could, for example, go with 2 firepower upgrades or put in the intercom systems. For now, I'm running with enhanced shell materials because I want to have the maximum reload time, or the minimum reload time really. And that is really achievable by enhanced shell materials Mark III. Consumables, the maximum expensive packages in order to get the passive bonuses from these. Normally I don't have to use them, but it's nice to have them on the vehicle. Ammo, mainly AP FSDS, 34 rounds of those. I carry 34 rounds because at this tier, especially in PvP, most of the vehicles are getting quite a lot of resistance to heat rounds. Heat rounds still can be very effective if you go into PvE because bots don't really know how to use their armor, and that's when you can deliver those 489 damage hits, whereas these only deliver 391. So the difference is pretty massive, almost 100 points, and especially in PvE you will definitely be using this round. Crew, I don't have them fully upped yet. I have spin to win to improve hull traverse even more. Make sure I can always angle my best armor towards the enemy. Do the twist, again, turret improve, or turret traverse speed improvement, and finally rapid fire, again, boost to my DPM. For the commander, I'm using Viktor Kirzanov, which I don't have fully upped yet, but what he helps me with is more module damage getting caused, although it's not really likely to get an overmatch with this gun. And again, you can improve your reload time if you get hit by an enemy vehicle. Sorry, if you're bouncing a shot against an enemy vehicle. That doesn't happen too often, but I'm still training up this commander. And for all I know, it might not be the right one for this vehicle. So let me know what you think on that. Now, this vehicle I found to be very, very competitive among its compatriots. You can find more vehicles at this tier. Of course, the XM1. I haven't driven this thing yet, so I don't really know what to expect from it. What I have driven is the Bradley and the Challenger 1. There's no tier 6 currently in the West European MBTs. But the T-72A seems to be a bit more sluggish, while of course hitting harder. It has a DPM of 3000, which can be further buffed, while we only have a DPM of 3500. And I'm not sure that you could out DPM a T-72 if you really had a dedicated driver against you. Alright, enough with the review. Let's get this thing into battle. I'm going to do a PvP match and a PvE match, and depending on how well those go, you can see how well I can use this vehicle, or not use this vehicle. But I have to say, after the Leopard 1A5, after running around the battlefield with no armor, this thing is a very welcome addition. It is so nice to finally have armor on a vehicle that is supposedly working for armor, considering that, hey, it's a tank. You should be able to withstand impacts. Alright, as you may have noticed, I had to cut the video there because the moment I started going into gameplay, my Bandicam recorder crashed. So, anyway, here we are. Lost Island, Leopard 2AV, a couple of tier 5s with me in this game. On the MBTs and enemy team are MBT 70, a Leo2 AV, and for the rest they got tier 6 Centauro and Typhon, as well as Terminator, EXP tank, also known as the Expeditionary tank, and the Stingray. Now, the fact that I have all this armor does not mean in any way that this vehicle is immortal. Don't make that mistake. I made the mistake initially, and it turned out really badly. So make sure that when you drive this vehicle, you don't get overconfident. Or the game is going to correct you, or rather the other players are going to correct your thinking on that very quickly. Now a position where I can use my hull down armor, or at least my turret armor, is over in the north. That's where I feel I have the best position for this tank. And let's see, there's another Leopard 2AV going that way, a Leopard 2AV Ice, which, if you're unfamiliar with the vehicle, it's the premium version of the Leopard 2AV. So it has all the upgrades, it has everything that this tank has, it just has better credit making. Which I gotta say, for this tank, even if in and of itself isn't bad, but if you take it into premium, it's gonna be a very nice moneymaker. The one thing I'm worried about though is that it's just me and this Leo2 AV. But it seems that there's another one of those. Shell onto the side. I got hit by a 1A5, as well as an BT-70, so I already lost half my health. But I might as well push up with these guys very quickly, in order not to expose my hull for too long. So if I do, I'm no doubtedly going to be sorry for that. There's an MBT-70, very hull down. Might be able to pen the hatch on the T-72. And hopefully my buddy here is going to cover my ass before that Leopard 2 AV shoots my ass off. Alright. No shot there. I am spotting these vehicles, so maybe the artillery on our team can help out with that a little bit. Although this map is pretty damn difficult for artillery to play. A little bit of damage, they knocked out my observation. Thing though, especially the MBT-70, I can completely out-DPM that thing, or at least out-reload it. Again, a little bit of damage there. We have too many tanks, or too many enemy tanks on this flank compared to the amount of friendlies we got. That's kind of worrying. The one option I see is just pushing on that Leo2 AV together and hoping that we're going to go through.
Identify target. Hostile tank.
There's the MBT-70. The Ural seems to be pushing up. That Leopard 2 AV Ice here is making nice progress. But the rest of the team, not so much. And I'm not entirely stuck here, but there's not too much I can do to push up successfully. Alright, that Leopard 2 AV is down. That's the first kill we got. That's pretty bad. That's the second kill. Now he's going over to this flank. So I'm going to cover his flank. There's not too much I can do from out here though, but I might be able to hit the artillery. No, he's away. Try to flank him then. That thing's too deep into cover. And of course there's an M60A3 coming up behind me. Especially behind my ally. He's not really behind me just yet. He's down. Fire on the move. Completely missed it. Yeah, our ice is dead. Full ramming speed into the Leopard here. Bit of damage. Face hug this guy. There's not really any good chance that he's going to penetrate me. He's dead. Good. There's the MBT-70, who is very difficult for me to pen at this angle. I really doubt that's going to work for very long. Yeah, I'm out. Right, one of the first ones to, or one of the last ones to die actually. Not really sure what I should have done differently there. I'm thinking that I might have had to push with the lemming train that was over to the other side and provide the firepower there. Because of course this RDF LT, no matter how good he's going to play, I really doubt he's going to be able to outplay 8 other players on this enemy team, so we're dead. As far as damage done and damage taken, I have taken 2,000 points of damage and did 1,395, so I actually did pretty poorly this match. because I simply did not get as much damage done as damage taken, which for me means that you're a burden to the team, not an asset. And I always try to get at least the amount of damage that my vehicle has in hit points done to the enemy team. So I absolutely should have done more here. Let's see how much XP I can get. 1550. As far as teams go, I made 4th. Just slightly after that Leopard 2AV, that other Leopard 2AV, the ice version. That's the star indicator there. As far as damage blocked by armor, 1900. So I mitigated quite a lot. Still, this vehicle can do better. So let's take it into a PvP match again and see what kind of matchmaking I can get this time. I'm really hoping it's not going to be Lost Island, because that is definitely not one of the maps that I prefer. Joining the match, considering the matchmaker tier, I think I'm going to be tiered up with some tier 7s. At least I wouldn't be surprised. Gold Strike with, oh, okay, only tier 6s and a couple of tier 5s. Enemy team has Leopard 2AVs, there they are again, MBT-70s, and a couple of AFVs, BMPs, BMDs, and M2 Bradley. With the amount of armor that I have, I'm no good going out in the open. Over here is not really a good position for me to be, because I'm going to get out-sniped by the ERC-90s. These tank destroyers are going to put fire into my flanks. So I really doubt that that's going to be a good position. Pushing through the town is not that great either, because of this lower frontal plate. This is one of the weakest spots of this vehicle, and everybody knows about it. So expect to be shot in the, let's say in the front of the vehicle, in the lower frontal plate, quite a lot. Alright, so considering all this, and I don't think there's really a good option. Just a varying degree of poor ones. You know what? I'm just gonna stay down in the riverbed. Might not be the best strategy for this tank, but we'll find out soon enough. Because out from in the riverbank, I can at least cover my lower hull, keeping my turret exposed, which is perfect. The Fox is going to do some spotting. I got massive fire support from a Typhon here. We have a VBL. Yeah, this might work out. The one worrying thing, though, is that this Leopard 2 AV is not moving. He might be AFK, which definitely would not be a good thing for us. Probably been designated by that Bradley over there. Not that that's going to help anyone, they just will know exactly where I am. Let's hope there's no AFV on the other flank. Which there is. BMP-2. Who has lost visual. Come on, sunshine. Got him. One round of damage done. There's one of the ERCs. Bit of a blind shot. Do not let that thing get fully aimed. I want this thing dead as soon as possible. I don't want to expose my own vehicle for too long. Fall back. Negative. I'm not going to fall back. I'm going to stay right here. I'm exactly where I want to be. Because from out here I might even get some spotting damage onto the AFVs and possibly the ERC-90. Hello. Bit of damage done there. And again, my armor saved me, but not against an impact like that, which was an MBT-70 from the other flank. Not too sure where that round came from, but possibly all the way over on the hill. Bradley down there. The problem is, the rear armor of this vehicle is not very good. Which means that if I stay out here for too long and the Bradley manages to start shooting into my rear, I have a very real and very sudden issue, which is probably going to get me killed. But so far I'm not being spotted. He is. And he's very wisely ducking into cover. You know what, I'm going to load a heat round here. Because the heat round might be able to... Ooh, that was close. Might be able to punish the ERC and kill it in one shot. Come on, come out of there. You know you want to take the shot. And then I'm going to start preloading AP because the Bradley is probably going to be wearing its ERA armor. Which means it's no good for me. Ouch. What was that? T-72 in my rear. And of course now I'm getting shot at from every possible angle for being too aggressive. Come on. If someone could just rush this annoying tank destroyer, that'd be great. ATGM coming in. That was close. I think I just broke line of sight with whatever was firing that. Possibly the Fox or the BMP. Okay, he's dead. Back to AP. Quite surprising that the artillery units have not fired at me yet. Long range round going into the MBT. Return fire coming in. Again, trying to expose only the turret because the rest of the vehicle is not really designed to be shot at. There's a T-72 Ural out there, but I just don't really have the gun depression to shoot at him. Not yet, anyway. Come on. Shit, I'm on fire. And then I got hit by an MBT-70 and I think a BMP-2 right after each other. And of course this guy has to gloat about it, apparently. So again, not doing as much damage as I want to be doing in this vehicle. I really hope that you can do better, because I know that this tank can do better. I just don't have enough experience in it to properly play it yet. So again, I really hope that you can do better with this vehicle. I'm going to pause the video here and wait for the results screen to come up and then show you exactly how much I got for this, let's say, display of being too aggressive. Right, 1282 experience and halfway through the teams as far as XP is concerned. So again, I really mucked up this gameplay. Apologize for that, I just don't play heavy tanks that much. I'm way more comfortable with light vehicles. So doing this review is not going to get you the best gameplay, but the gameplay, let's say the average gameplay for me. And that's exactly what you just saw here. Now I'm going to slightly adjust my ammo loadout in order to accommodate my armor loadout for, or my ammo loadout for PvE, because that's what's going to be next up. Let's take a hard contract, Operation Banshee, seized and shut down the oil refinery, so this is going to be the mission I'm going to be taking on. A couple of tier 6s seem to be in the queue, and this is the beauty of PvE. You just get a game right away. No waiting, no messing about, you just get a game right from the get-go. So let's see what kind of mission I can expect, what kind of team members, and especially team members are important. We got 2 AVs, a Terminator, a Bradley. These things are not very heavily armored, although the the Terminator is pretty heavily armored. Leopard 2AV and an M60A3. So looks like it's all good here. And if I'm not mistaken, that guy, der Sanity and the Terminator, is actually one of the guys that may have killed me last game. I think he was driving the MBT-70. Okay, this map, make sure you don't go over to E1 or E0 because there's a hole there. That hole, I never really got stuck in it because I usually don't go to that side of the map, but you can get completely stuck there. So make sure you stay away from that position. As for me, I'm going to start out with a heat round, because usually, and as you can see, there are lightly armored vehicles spawning in. AFVs, maybe some light tanks, and this is what you can do. And I was going to hope to get a high damage roll there, but instead the game said, nope, that's a bounce. And yeah, it's supposed to be shaking up like that because that's the airstrike that came in over on the left. Nothing to worry about there. Working as intended. 41 damage, finished off that VBL, or what was it? VFM, sorry. Gonna push up, because I am a tank after all. These things are slightly more heavily armored, although T-72 you can actually penetrate with a heat round. Keep pushing up. I want to clear around these cargo trucks or cargo... What are these called in English? Cargo units? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to clear them as soon as possible. Let's go for the lower, or actually the rear hull is better. You can see the Terminator going to work. That's the amount of damage that's the Terminator outputting. Target down. Shot into my rear. That's the Terminator killing me. Or at least trying to put shots into something else. Or the Bradley. Yeah, it was the Bradley putting shots into me. No effect. I was going for the lower frontal plate because that's where a T-72 can be very easily penetrated with a heat round. Going for maximum damage. And yes, I know that by now there will be people commenting that I should have fired AP instead of heat. That I'm doing it all wrong. Well, that's fine, but normally, even if I miss the occasional heat round, I can get more damage than if I only fire AP. I have to keep in mind that there are AFVs with autocannons. They're not going to get close. They're going to stay at range and try to do maximum range or maximum damage from all the way over to where they are. Which for me isn't terrible, but it is something that I have to keep in mind because they will start... There we go again. They will try and get shots at vehicles that are close to me. So I cannot use my, let's say, regular ram tactics. Or at least not too much. That was a bit too slow for an actual ram. No pen. Okay, let's switch to AP. You can see that unlike the Leopard 1A5, the Leopard 2AV can actually take this amount of punishment. I can just sit here all day and have this thing hammer all of its rounds into my frontal armor, and the tank is just not going to be impressed at all. Target down.
Yes, good. The lines will counterattack, but you must hold.
We already have 3 out of 4 pump stations, which is nice. The last one's right close to the cap. So let's there. Target's Leopard. No, sorry, it's an Abrams. Over into the side of the vehicle.
Let's see if they have any claws.
No good shot there. I may be able to go through the lower frontal plate, but I'm not too sure. They, though, went through my lower frontal plate, doing 344 damage. And again, I am not sticking around here. This thing is doing too much damage to me. Instead, I might as well snipe out the Bradley here and see what other tanks I can get, let's say, cheaper shots at without having to trade too much hit points. And there's a good shot into the 2AV. There is a glide panzer off of my rear. Come on, screw him off. But he's not going for me yet. These things are so thinly armored, you don't even have to go for this side. Abrams. The other one's still reasonably well inside of cover. Now there's a Bradley behind me, though. You can see the firing on the move is not the strongest asset of this vehicle. Even if I am fully zoomed in, where the vehicle seems to be the only thing that where my shell's going to be, you still do not get a good shot. Very heavy damage going, again, probably through my lower frontal plate from the EXP tank here. But I can return the favor by doing 516 damage with a heat round. You can see the aim time, again, is quite depressing. And for some reason we've already lost 2 of my teammates, Leopard 2AV and the M60. Which means that I am now the most heavily armored unit on this team. Which is not a good thing. Because I don't really have that many hit points left. I can at least keep taking this battering for a while. And there goes the Terminator.
Target down.
That's him down. Okay, switching back to AP.
Tank. Load Sabo.
Although this target should have been taken out with heat rounds. You can see the AI is just not caring about what angle of the vehicle it's showing to me.
Loader heat.
As usual. Maybe at some point these things are going to smarten up.
Identified. Hostile PC.
Oh dear, that's a whole lot of vehicles. That's a Leopard 2AV. That is going to be challenging, to say the least. 531, high damage roll in the heat round. Other bagel pans are coming in. Easily hit. I'm just exploiting these rail cars here. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Rail car. Another hit. Although my Bradley buddy is getting overwhelmed on the other flank. I have to help him out a bit.
Identify target. Hostile PC.
I'm not pushing him. Oh, hello. Jesus. 514. 438. That's the other side of the equation. Sometimes you just get a very low damage roll. And just finish it off. Or not finish it off. Now I'm very happy that I brought my PvE consumable with me, because I'm going to run out of ammo. That's something that I found with the Leopard to be the case. You just run out of ammo. Which, for me, in a heavy tank in PvE, is pretty unusual. First going to fire all of my rounds. And then once I'm through all of them, I'm going to restack the... or I'm going to start using the PvE consumable to get all of my rounds back, instead of just a portion of them. Good hit from the VFM. The Bradley, not that much of a problem, but the VFM has a pretty dangerous gun. So he has to go. And I'm now all alone. My Bradley buddy died. And I'm about to fire my last shot, after which I'm going to immediately pop my PvE recyclable or consumable. Got hit. There's a VFM off my left. Let's see, I need to kill stuff. Yeah, this damage dealer is going to go. It's going to hurt. There's not a lot I can do about that. Short of killing him, of course. And I cannot push too far forward. Wonderful. I cannot push too far forward or rear, because I'm going to get faced with that Leopard 2A5. So, I think that really the only choice that I have right now is to try and cap it out, because in 6 minutes I doubt I'll have the DPM to kill off every vehicle that's out there. Aside from that, I also want to try and get the pump station. There's an XM1. There's a Terminator 2. Bloody hell. Come on. Not a good shot. I'm going to have to take the long way around. Of course, that thing decided to track us. Come on. Get the tracks back up. Going around. There's a Bradley off my rear, but so be it. 5.5 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually turned into a pretty impossible mission at this stage. There's the Terminator that I had to kill. There you go. One by one. All form up, come around the corner one by one, and I'll take you down one by one. Guns hit, that's going to hurt my aim time even more. 368. This thing is going to take at least 2 more rounds. 281. I should have gone for the weak spot there. That one. Although that still is only 239 damage. 284. Last round's going to kill him off. He's out. Okay, hydro pumps are no longer an option. Fortunately, this thing is very, very cleverly showing the full side of its armor towards me, which I'm perfectly happy with. The more the merrier. That's him down. Stingray is quite heavily armored, but I'm starting to run out of armor penetrator rounds. So the next one's going to have to be a heat round going through the viewport here. Good hit. Not enough to kill him though. Wonderful. There's the 2A5. That's what I'm going to save my armor penetrator rounds for. 490 or 40. Sorry, 449. 490 is a bit much. This is going to be one tough nut to crack. Sight shot, although the sight was heavily angled. This thing can one-shot me. Switch back to AP after firing this round. Come on, get out of the way. I don't want you, I want the Bradley. Got him. And of course the XM1 that just spawned in decided to shoot into my flank. Thank you very much. And that was another damaging round. Not too sure what he hit on my vehicle, but it wasn't good. You can see that I reload faster than I actually aim in at this stage. Which, considering the amount of vehicles, or the type of vehicles that are left, is really bad news for me. He's tracked. His gun seems to be stuck behind the vehicle there. He's out. Now, clawing my way back to the cap, and hoping that I can cap it in time. I only have 2.5 minutes. And 68 hit points. There's still a Ramka. I can take down a Ramka, I'm not too worried about that. I'm worried about whatever else may spawn in. If anything. Oh no! He tracked me! Moreover, he tracked me in a position where my side armor is showing towards this vehicle. 427, that's the weak spot. Nice fireworks bouncing off my front. Target down. Got the mission! Well, just keep grinding, keep shooting him down, and there you go. I wonder how much armor, or how much damage my armor bounced. Bloody hell. Alright, let's see how much I got for that, because I think that this reward, especially considering it's a ×2, is not going to be too bad. It's going to be a decent amount of experience. Yep, 4,400 experience, 23,000 damage done at tier 6. Usually I don't even get this amount of damage at tier 8 or 9. It's very rare that I see this amount. I got 1,000 XP more than the second guy on the team. Look at this. These three guys together didn't do as much damage as this vehicle did. As far as damage bounced or damage mitigated, 12,295. I got 55,000 credits for that, and of course I get the mission reward, which is another 95,000 credits for me. So, not too good in PvP, but that's mostly my bad because I don't play PvP that much. PvE, much better results. And I really like the way that this vehicle handles in PvP. In PvE. But probably can make it work very well in PvP too. It's just that I don't really know how to do that. So, let me know what your thoughts are on this vehicle. I, for one, would definitely give it a, let's say, a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10 even, because of the massive amount of armor that you're suddenly wearing instead of having the 1A5, which is, well, pretty damn weak. Anyway, that's it for this review. I hope you liked it. Let me know what your thoughts are on the vehicle, and I look forward to seeing your comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.